Check.
Nice, loud and
I can't
clear.
hear you, OC.
You cannot hear me? Test, test. Audio test, audio test. Do you
You're
have audio now?
good.
Nice. Oh, let's go. Let's make it happen.
What's up?
How was your weekend, my friend?
It was very, very boring. And that's exactly what I wanted
Really?
because I was sick. I was so sick last week, man. So
Yeah.
it was a little bit of rest, man. A little bit of rest. Uh, trying to take it easy, which is hard for me. It's hard to relax sometimes because there's always so much to do, OC, as you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
There's always something, right?
yeah, exactly. So
Absolutely.
I
Mhm.
relaxed. I managed to relax a little bit, which is good for me. How about you?
Nice. Love to hear that. Well, I also relaxed. I did work a little bit, took some profits, and in a show that I've had going on that I was dude waiting for a long time. I mean, I waited almost a whole week to take profits on that trade. But other than that, was fantastic. It was a pretty cool Saturday. Not much to do, and then Sunday I went out with my wife to take some brunch. I love brunching, by the way. I don't know why. That's my favorite. That's my favorite food of the day. And then that was basically it. Did some housekeeping and walk out in the park, and that was almost everything. That was pretty cool. Also, trying to get some rest.
You don't rest. Come on, you just got married. You're practicing making babies now.
Absolutely. But I cannot talk about that in the public or not that much.
I got
Let's
echo
get
on
it.
my side.
Oh, you got echo on your side? Let me see if I can fix that. Test, test, test.
Check, 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 check. Still going. Echo. Hello.
It's not on my
I
end.
like my voice, but come on. Check.
Was that gone
Is
for
it
a
mine?
second? I think so.
Let me come back. I'll be back.
I'll be back. Let's go. Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
Check. That's weird, man. What's going on?
Let me see. Maybe I can do this. Can you check once again?
Check. No. It's not working. Why do I get a
If
output device, input device? Check. No, it's still. Check, check, check. Close your screen. Stop sharing.
second. Stop
Check,
sharing.
check, 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 check. Yeah, now I have no feedback, so it's your screen. Whatever your screen is doing, that's
Hmm.
no, it's the screen share. I have no feedback now.
Let me do. Alright,
Can you mute your screen?
can you try now?
Check. Check. We're good.
We're good. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
I did nothing, by the way. I just shared. But let's go. Maybe it was just a bug. Can you check one more time, just in
Uh,
case?
check, 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 check. We're good.
All right, perfect. Let's get it. So this is where we are stuck at into the range. And but really quickly, remember this is on daily. We are into a never-ending range right here as we were breaking through. Well, we have just a little hint that we might have a Wyckoff early breakout that was expecting, but not. We did actually had a rejection. Remember, we don't long because we believe something is going to happen. We long because we have a confirmation. In my case, that would have been a breakout retest. In the meantime, we just do what our strategy tells us, which is short the top and buy the bottom, right? So look at where is my bottom, somewhere around here, right? Look at how close we get to get that bottom. I think we're gonna nail it. I think that between today and tomorrow, we're gonna have that sweep of the lows. And really important, actually, Piper, I'm sorry. Actually, Alexo was talking about this Wyckoff distribution, which is, this Wyckoff accumulation, where we could be seeing that spring. So, hey, heads up, warning, warning, we might be having this one if it's not a flat pause of bearish continuation. All right, so let me bring that up once again. And if you're new here, you might be hearing cryptic stuff like, hey, is it going down or up? Right? So let me try to make it very, very clear, just so there's no question about what we're talking about. In the meantime, I believe that we're coming down. And you can see this short happening. Not only that short it happened, let's go to the 4 hours because we've been keeping track. I opened that short back on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Thursday. Right? I had to wait all the way till, what was it, Saturday, Sunday, for these to start actually moving, and Sunday taking some profits. If you guys are just tracking, let me show you the kind of trading that I'm doing, because this is not, high leverage or anything like that. Let me just copy the image. I snipped this right before I close that partial trade. This is a short 3x. That's basically nothing, all right? But remember, when you get a mortgage of your house, you get like 78 or 70 to 80% on your house value. You don't even get 100%. In this case, you are doing 3 times your monetary value, whatever you have on your account. So that pretty much it's a lot. All right. So just keep a perspective on how that is it. All right. So it's not that big of a. I need to mute this for a second. It's just driving me crazy. There we go. Sorry for that. And once again, here you go. All right. So as you can see, I'm doing 3x, and this is for one simple reason. The closer we get to the bottom, all right, the worse that we should be doing with the shorts, because it's just like trying to short closer to this area, right? Look at the volatility, and we did see that kind of volatility, not as bad, but we did saw that volatility. And remember we had a 2 entry setup. That was half of an entry because we entered right here, and another half of an entry right here, which give us a center average entry right there at 89,400 or 500 K. All right. So as you can see, it was pretty profitable. Taking something out, 50% out, moving your stop to entry, and then right now waiting to see what's going to happen. This is an option, but until or unless I don't see that, this would be my next long, right? So I'm not longing here, I'm longing after the retest. But in the meantime, plan A, it is, and let me bring it up. Plan A for me, it's this and that. All right, and this bottom can extend in between these 2 lines right here. All right, so fair warning, let me actually get rid of this so we have a much cleaner setup. All right, this one already have played out, this one right here, so let's get rid of that. And my next long entry is going to be right there on the support. Where is that exactly? Look at the spring. All right, if we get the spring, and I'm going to be trying to long the spring, just so you guys know, this spring longing is going to be a high risk long. And then the most or the best area to enter, it's right there. If I don't know if you guys can see it, right. Oh, come on, right here in this little itty bitty peak. Right there is gonna be my next entry, and right here is gonna be my next entry in between those two areas. So adding one, adding twice to that entry, and trying to take some profits on the way up. All right. So just fair warning, we are in the middle of the range, and I'm using 3x because of a simple concept. Let me pass it over to you, Alex, because I want to. I explained somewhere more difficult, but you bring up a hot dog analogy, and I really like that analogy. So, could you maybe refresh my mind and explain me what is a hot dog analogy?
Yeah, so it's range bound trading, right? So if you're range bound, you must first distinguish where the range is and how we're going to trade the range, right? So we can go over here. One second here. I was ready, and now I'm not ready, but I'll be ready. Don't worry. I'll figure it out. So range bound trading. So defining a range is important, right? A lot of the time what we have is, let's use this orb for example, right? So the orb open range breakout is, two lines here. So we have two lines. We have a high and a low. Okay, so a high and a low is established, right? Now it's very important of how you come into the range, okay? It's going to give you a bias if you come in from the bottom or the top, right? So if you're, in this case, we've come in from the bottom. So I always look for the first high. So when we come into a range, I look for the first high to be established, and then I look for the first low to be established, kind of deal. Okay, when we have this, then we can establish where is our premium and discount. So this would be an area of premium and discount, right? That we have to trade now, right? So, and then in this area, we want to buy low and sell high. And as long as we can identify reversal structures and market structure within this range, we can be pretty successful in trading this kind of stuff, okay? It's very important that we define it properly though, because if we don't, then we could end up, getting into trouble with any of this. So keeping an eye on how the range is developed is very important. I always talk about it being like a hot dog zone. So you don't want to trade, you don't want to diddle in the middle. So if we have a hot dog, we like big buns and we cannot lie, right? So we don't really want to trade in the middle here. We want to buy low and sell high. We want to trade the nice juicy buns, right? So when we come up into an area and we establish a low, right, and a high, we can look to trade within these areas, right? So we want to buy low and sell high. And that defining our range allows us to take, the short acceptance back in, the long, right? So it allows us to participate safely with good risk management because you can short and long, right, and make money. Now, it applies on all time frames, right? So if I zoom out on like a daily, you can see it's very clearly defined in here, right? So we have our highs and our lows, and if you bought low and sold high, right, you define your low area, right, and you define your high area, right? You can buy low and sell high within this area. You can make good money, right? And then obviously as you go down in smaller term time frames and all that stuff, you can actually really take advantage of it, right, and really make a lot of good money. The important thing is that once we establish it, you got to be okay being wrong once. A lot of people, they're like, oh, Alex told me to trade the range, right? We're range bound 80% of the time, which means that if we're in here and we're trading this, you must manage your risk properly, because if you don't, you're going to be wrong once, guaranteed, because one of these times this is going to leave the range, right? This is going to leave the range. So if you're not prepared for this guy and you're not managing your risk, you'll be wrecked. Okay, you'll be wrecked. So in this situation, you must be prepared for this. Okay, if you're not prepared for this, you end up getting hurt. Okay, and you can do this on any time frame, any setup, right? You can see last week was a good example, right? We had buy low, sell high, right? So here's your range last week, right? And you can trade within that range. Okay, a good tool on Chart Prime, if you are struggling with it, you got premium and discount and predictive ranges here. You see here, premium, discount, predictive ranges. You flip that bad boy on. This is going to allow you to define your range. I can turn off the market structure right now. You don't need that. And it's going to give you a defined range based on time, right? So you're going to have the median, which is the blue line, and then you'll have the extremes, right? So you can see in here, if you had traded this predictive range from last week on the 15-minute time frame, you could see that anytime you got above or below the yellow bar, you could look for longs and shorts, okay? The premium and discount defines where is the premium and where is the discount of the range and how you can look to take advantage of it. So if you're way down here, you know that you're looking for this to rotate up, right? So it's defining that, and you can get into like the 3-minute for today, right? And you can say that, hey, look, discount down here, looking to rotate back up, premium up here, right? And you can trade it like that. So that's kind of how I do it. Hopefully that helps you guys. And hopefully that shows you how I use it to trade the range.
Absolutely.
What do you think, Ghosty?
I love that you actually are using the predictive range. It's one of my favorite tools. And I see also right here, Lucidus mentioned, sometimes I jump into the very first candle, right? And then that retest gets me stopped out or even goes to the other way around. You might be missing one of two things. First, knowing, and I'm going to say this with quotation because nobody knows the future, right? But having a sensitivity or something that leads you to understand whether you're in for a fake out, right? Or you're in for a breakout, right? Or breakout retest. There's these three ones. Breakout or breakout retest, I would say that those are the most difficult ones because fake outs, you usually see lack of volume, lack of momentum, or your oscillator, it's below the zero line. Let me give you that example and let me show you how I will actually be looking into using the predictive ranges to tell you what's going to happen. All right. So for example, here, let me mark that hot tag, right? These two lines in here, let me make that that bridge. These two lines in here at the top, they are my entry points for short and my escape room for breakout retest. All right. The very first fake out retest was this one, fake out, right? And then on the way up, right, on the retest, look at that. And that's what I wait. I don't long the very first candle breakout. I wait for the retest, or at least a single candle retest, right? And then this thing is going downwards, 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 downwards. Look at what happened. Almost imminent that we're going to break. This is where I enter, somewhere around here on the way down. As we could have a flip of the ribbon on the zero line. So my danger point or danger area was in here. All right. So look at that. I was trying to short it when the ribbon was going down and not when the ribbon was going up. All right. So that's the very first thing to look for, right? Just to understand whether if this is a fake out or not. And then right here, for example, if we are, let me give you an example. Here we go. Like this one here. You can see the range bound here, okay? And then look at that. At this point, we are below your zero line, okay? And what happened? That was a fake out. You see that? So that's kind of like how to identify fake outs. Now, the lower portion or my lower box, let's paint that up in here. So this is my lower entry box. All right. So as you can see, my hot dog or my bonds are at the top and at the bottom. And well, in the no trading area, I'm breaking a little bit of that rule, right? And that's because I believe I have the skills to do so, but it's not always recommendable. And remember, I'm using 3x, not 20x, no 10x, not 40x, not 70x. I'm using 3x, right? 3x. Very small for most of us traders, and that's because I'm in the no trading zone and I'm trying to squeeze as much as I can without putting my capital at risk. All right, so very important. That's very, very important. All right. So as we get into this area, I'm going to be looking for a long, and that long is going to happen as I get a flip of the ribbon, a higher low, something along these lines, something along these lines, something along these lines, all right? So that's the next step. Now, the breakout retest. So right here, let's check this out, right? If it bounces back below and closes inside of the range, that's it. That's a very, very, very strong way to really forget about the long and then change your perspective for a short. Now, let's add another tool in here. And let me go to a cleaner chart. All right. So just for the sake of explaining, because sometimes it gets a little bit too cloudy. There it is. Oh, no, this is way worse. All right. And you can see first in here how we define the no trading zone, okay, the range, the breakout retest, and how I was explaining you guys, this for back in the day, right? Where is going to be or where was going to be my entry for a long if we got it. We didn't. We closed back inside. Therefore, I was still within that short, all right? Now, then let's get to what I was explaining. Bringing up your predictive ranges. Let me see. I have two ways to add my predictive ranges. The very first one, it is 50, just default, add chart. All right. And this is one that I really, really, really like. Usually, when we are breaking through, and let me remove everything else, or almost everything else. When we're breaking through a range bound, let me show it to you, for example, in here. When we're breaking out a range bound, we are also breaking through, let me move this out of the way, the purple line, right? That purple line. When we break the purple line, we regenerate another range bound. Look at this, between purple up, purple down. And in most of the cases, after breaking the purple, we go and hit the blue line. In this case is very not like a great case, all right? Why? Because it's not really showing you a big movement. But for example, right here, where we break the purple, and then we go hit the blue, right? And then we break the purple, and then we go hit the blue. You can see that gives you a direction. We break the purple, we go hit the blue. And once we're getting for the blue, we take a look at our oscillator and look for topping or bottoming. All right, easy peasy. So if we're breaking the purple, well, then let's go for it. Let me actually remove everything in here. Let's remove all of the drawings. And guess where we break out of, or where we reject it. Sorry, not break out. Where we reject it out of the golden. Right now, look at where is my purple line at the very bottom. So I can still go and long the heck out of this with no fear, unless I break that purple and then I regenerate another set of predictive ranges. So that's another way that you can use for identifying a fake out or a breakout. Let's compare this to what I got. Remember, purple line, and my purple line was basically all the way down here, right? Where is my entry zone? For long, right there. Am I going to be longing it? Yes, I'm going to be longing it until or unless I get stopped out, and I'm absolutely going to be using a stop loss. All right. So you got it. I mean, that's another tool that you can use. Hopefully that worked for you. And well, that's basically it on what I got. Let me pass it over to you, Alex, and ask you about your trading day today. How was it? Are you looking at some altcoins? I have TIA on my head. I'm looking for a possible bounce up on the 4 hours. But how was your trading day today?
It was good, man. Super choppy and volatile, but we managed to catch a good long this morning on Solana. If we're looking at it here, so let's go over to Solana and take a look. Just a little review of the day. Solana's been outperforming Bitcoin. So like a big thing that I always look at is like, how is the asset performing against Bitcoin? And where is it in relevance to Bitcoin? Because it's going to kind of help me kind of navigate the charts here, right? So we can see Solana, big push out last night, consolidation, looking for continuation out. and trying to get going, right? Trying to get going. So we managed to catch the long literally right here, make $2,000 on the way out this morning, which was really nice. It was like a little sweep and go, right? So for me, I'm always looking at, you know, what the asset's doing in relevance to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin was kind of stalling out, and I was looking for Bitcoin or Solana to sweep these lows and continue outwards. And it was pretty obvious when you look. You can zoom into the 1 minute here, but you can see really failing to break down, right? Failing to break down, head and shoulders, reclaiming back in, and then up we went to Valhalla, right? So looking for that allowed me to really take some juice out of the market today. So it's that same thing, right? Like we're overextended this morning. How are we going to get into the trade? We had topping structure, but we have higher highs, higher lows, continuation all the way through here. There's no reason to fade something that's doing this, right? Like OC and I talked to you guys, nothing like a good trend line. Okay, so as long as we don't break this, we're looking to long. It's just how we're looking to get into that long, right? And that's kind of going to help us navigate, right? So if we can define what we're looking for, and then how are we going to get in, right? So like up here, you typically don't want a long, right? You want a long into resistance, and we knew the resistance was at 124. I actually managed to short this for a little, like $600 in here. I didn't hold it, but we were looking for that follow through. Now choppy, consolidation over leading into market open, and the market opens, and what was the big tell, right? It's like the S&P 500, guys. If you look at the S&P 500, the open this morning, look how bullish it was, right? You gapped up, you continued, right? So there's no reason if the markets are opening up. Look at the NASDAQ. The markets are all opening up bullish, right? So what's our job? Our job is to try and get long as safe as possible, right? So using the NASDAQ, using the S&P 500 for confluence is going to allow me to take advantage of Solana or Bitcoin or whatever the heck you're trading, right? So that was kind of the tell this morning to my success on really what I was looking for and how I was looking to trade it, right? And by doing that, had a little bit of success this morning. Nothing special in the setup, just a matter of waiting for my setup, taking the setup, and letting the trade play out, right? So right now I'm looking for follow through continuation on Solana, on Bitcoin, on everything. Right now it's looking hella strong, and we'll see if it does want to continue to march to Valhalla. Right now, I would like to think it was going to continue, but when we're this high up and overextended, it's always very very important to be patient and as humble as possible, because the market will humble you, right? So if we don't take profits and we try to get gig along here, we could end up, because look at how quick it came back, right? That's always the important thing to understand here with any sort of trading, right? It's always ready to come back and hunt you. So when looking at where we're at, I think it's important to understand the macro too. So when I zoom out here on Solana, right? Let's look at the difference, right? Like Solana has been destroyed, right? Solana came all the way back down to the low, right? We have pretty much equal lows. It didn't sweep the low. I called this as the low, and it's still valid. Okay, kind of cheating, but it's still valid. It didn't hit it, but a big drop off here for Solana, right? So what does that mean? That means that it's very oversold in comparison to Bitcoin, right? When we look at Bitcoin, we go on a higher term time frame here, and we zoom out. You see, Bitcoin has not come for its lows yet, right? Bitcoin has a lot of ways to go yet, right? If anything, this would have been the Solana low, so it should have taken 84,000. So Solana's in an area of where I'm more interested because of the recovery it could have, right? And as you can see, it worked out pretty well. Locally right now, right, how I'm looking to trade this is is I'm looking for imbalances. So we see imbalance down here and liquidity up in here. So, and then you can see this higher highs, higher lows. So I'm looking for this to break. If we break this, do something like that, I will get short, look to come down into here. Very simple. Okay, if we come back in here and we just stick around in the range, I would look for range bound theory again, sweep, hold, and go. Okay. And then looking at Bitcoin in comparison, right? Bitcoin's going to kind of tell me the story, right? So if I look at here, the cool thing is Bitcoin's given us a pretty nice bullish divergence in here, right? And lots of liquidity for us to come in and attack here, right? If this wants to get going, it doesn't really need much to get going, right? Doesn't need much to get going. So for me, it's like, okay, can we get going, right? I don't need to fight this thing. I just need to learn how to jump on trend, right? So with trend, higher highs, higher lows, continuation here, sweep of the lows, continuation here. Bitcoin's looking pretty strong. I can jump on that, especially because the NASDAQ's continuing to push, the SPY's continuing to push. So there's a lot of oomph, as I like to call it, a lot of oomph here, right? So for me, it's about participating safely right now, not trying to get overly long or overly short. It's like I just want to be kind of level-headed here and let the price action materialize. Higher highs, higher lows, continuation out. When we look at Bitcoin here, it's trying to push out. We're just getting above VWAP right now, I believe, and trying to rotate, right? Trying to rotate and try to continue. So we'll see if we get there. So I see altcoins recovering well. So for me, it's how do I get on trend? I think I had a couple of alarms go off here on some altcoins. NVIDIA, Tesla, Render. Render was in a spot. Point of control bounce level. Yes. Okay. So Render is something that, I like. This is a bad chart. Gemini. Render, Binance. I have a better Render chart. Right here. Yeah. So, I mean, I want to get long, but I also we've been beaten up here. So it needs to, in my opinion, a lot of these alts, they need to show me some strengths, which means higher highs and higher lows. What else do we have? I think I had virtual. Yeah, in a bounce level 2. I wish I longed here, obviously, yesterday. Woof, that thing's flying. Acceptance back into the range. So a lot of these things, right? You have an established high. I'd like to see higher high, higher low, right? So a little bit of patience is still required. It is Monday. We do have a lot of news going on. We have, war in the Middle East and a lot of craziness going on. So, I mean, your job right now is to pay yourselves, not buy the top and try to make money, right, OC? And
Absolutely.
and be patient. That's what I would suggest right now.
Absolutely. Let me bring up a couple of things because guys, remember what Alex mentioned at the very beginning when he was talking about the hot dog, right? You need to be prepared when the range breaks, all right? If talking about Bitcoin daily or Bitcoin 4 hours, if the range breaks to the downside, the 4-year cycle is almost intact. We're still within the same thing and we're bearish, right? So that's basically it. So we are still within that very possibility, right? I would like to believe that we're going up just like the previous weeks or 15 days that we were breaking up, but I still shorted it. I shorted it with a stop loss. In my entry of the long, it was not until we have a breakout retest and then signals of continuation. So despite of whatever I want to believe or whatever I'm feeling, my strategy is upfront. And I'm very, very, very quick knowing when I'm changing my mind, right? Use a trend line, use a topping factor, use your oscillator, use something that tells you warning, warning, all right? Let me bring up my screen because there's a couple of things that you can also add to it. So I share with you guys a link of CoinMarketCap. All right, so this is the link. And here you have a lot of tools to your left. So take advantage of those tools. Those are free tools for you on CoinMarketCap. And one of those that I really like is the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. But it's not only just telling you whether you're fear and greed. It also gives you the full line with this full trajectory, right? This is very important for me because I can chart this. All right, so remember, everything is geometry. Let me actually bring this up with the snipping tool. Let me just snip this out just a little bit, and let me copy this and then paste it on the charts. I'm gonna paste it on silver, but just because silver is pumping and I have a lot of space in here, so let's paste it here. There it goes. And something important about fear and greed, and this is crypto, all right, is that we can chart this thing up. Look at, for example, this trend line that we are getting. Something important is that, is this an area to buy? Well, we're breaking back inside of that trend line. So we still need to wait, but I would say this area right here, it's good for DCA in. Talking about fear and greed. This is not giving you price. This is giving you whatever price you are, but in the fear and greed. Very important. If you, for example, buy right now, look at that before, it could even go even lower, right? If you buy right there, this one bounce back up. So that's why we're talking about DCA and not just blindly buying. Another important thing is that we're still making lower highs and lower lows. And the only way to get out of this would have been a bounce basically right now to create another trend line like this. And we're charting fear and greed. If we bounce out of this with strength, well, we have a second chance, maybe a dead cat bounce or something around those lines, but that is important. Another important part on this one, let me just get rid of all of these strongs that I made, all right? It's within the same area, but the icon season. As long as Bitcoin is stalling, we have micro icon seasons, all right? So if Bitcoin is boring, count with icons to be pumping. But talking about the actual icon season, we're not there yet. Look at that. We're not in, we're closer to Bitcoin season still than icon season. So just bear that in mind, all right? So you will always start seeing things popping, like, for example, Reaver. We talked about Reaver, Chiliz, Axie Infinity. Come on, really? That actually took me by surprise. All right, so all right. I mean, I still need to wake out of that. Just that's a cool one. Meme, kind of like a meme coin ish, in my opinion. XMR. I mean, Monero. Love that. PAXG Gold, of course. XAUT. That's gold also. SEC going there. So there you go. You can start looking at things on how they are performing right down here. Right. Very important. If you see this moving, it doesn't mean you should be jumping in. I would actually be looking at a reversal out of this, especially since we are closer to Bitcoin season. All right. So not because it's green, you should be buying in, but it will give you a proportion of how much it have gone in or down. For example, night, if it's falling that bad, and if it has still strong indicators, well, then I would consider to buy just a little bit if I'm good with holding it. Jupiter, again, like, for example, yeah, I like Jup. For example, Pengu, I like Pengu, right? Some of those that have really fallen, I might be encouraged to buy if I see bottoming patterns. All right, look at that. I'm using two things in here. First, they have fallen really bad. And second, I'm looking for bottoming patterns to catch the bounce, not the to the moon trade. So keep those things in mind, right? As if you are trading crypto, because at this point, I would really go heavy on Bitcoin, heavy, quote unquote, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is to leverage yourself from altcoins. And if you're gonna be doing something, do it on on Bitcoin, and make sure you're using it okay leverage, okay amount per trade, and you are quick to get out of those trades. We are in danger zones, and you need to protect your capital at these areas. So other than that, we're basically out of time. Alex, would you like to wrap things up before we go?
Yeah, no, it's good. It's Monday. It's going to be a volatile week. Be prepared. Pay yourselves. Take your time. Practice good risk management. That's it, man. It's keep it simple.
Absolutely. So thank you guys so much for joining. Gare, I did receive your description. It's a very nice one. Let me analyze it today. And tomorrow in this class, I'm going to be giving you a full answer with examples and everything. Thank you so much for sending that. Really appreciate you guys. And as always, see you guys tomorrow.